Hey, what's up guys, it's Mark Yoon, and today I'm bringing another hopefully exciting video. So what I got for you today is the continuation from our new timeline lore for Soul Calibur 6 series. And the character we're going to be talking about today is none other than Amy. Now, Amy was DLC, but she does have a pretty lengthy backstory that she was given, so we are going to go into that as soon as possible, starting directly now. So born in the slums of the ruin in the French Empire, Amy grew up in a crucible filled with violence and cynicism. She quickly became resigned to her circumstances, convinced that hope was nothing more than fuel for despair. One day, a ruckus erupted within the slums. Amy was on her way back to where she slept when suddenly a man flew out seemingly from nowhere, colliding with her and knocking them both to the ground. The man appeared to be a noble, and Amy wondered what business he had in the slums. The sound of soldiers' footsteps filled the air. The man was being chased. It had not been for Amy's intention to help him, and his plight inspired no compassion within her, but Amy's sole interest was to spite the soldiers in return for the cruelty their kind had always shown her, nothing more. She got them to leave by making up a lie only a pack of foolish soldiers would believe. However, the man was still there, staring at Amy as though he had made a prized discovery. In all of her life, no one had ever looked at her that way. He asked her name, and upon hearing her answer, muttered it several times before beginning to weep. He expressed to her his profound thanks. Together with the man, who called himself Raphael, Amy left the slums behind. The wheels of fate had been set into motion as Amy began walking her path with her own feet for the first time. Now face to face with which she had rejected for so long, hope. As Amy prepared to depart, she began to think back on how much her life had changed. From the time she agreed to come with Raphael, she found herself living in an unimaginable for a girl from the slums. She had to learn how to wield a sword to survive, as they had no shortage of enemies. She was now expected to be educated and exhibit proper manners in order to fit into his world. She wasn't sure how much of his life he actually wanted, but it didn't matter, so long as it was by her side. She wanted to catch up to him. After Raphael left on his journey, Amy sensed that something terrible lay in wait for him. She grabbed the hilt of her rapier, Albion, a gift from Raphael. It was her symbol of hope and companion she hoped would light her way along the dark road ahead. But something was wrong. Something important had escaped her mind, now lost in a haze of forgotten memories, but its shadow was beginning to loom over their lives. Quietly, she prayed for there to be hope at the end of both of their paths. Amy retains her cold demeanor from the original timeline, caring only for Raphael. Her voice indicates that she rarely shows emotions when not near Raphael. Despite her cynical worldview, Amy finds happiness once she is raised and nourished by Raphael. She herself is shown to be worried of Raphael's well-being to the point where she would embark on a journey to find him. Amy is shown to be wary of Aswell's motives, given that he manipulated her father into finding Soul Edge. Additionally, Amy is easily vexed by Aswell's flamboyant and pompous mannerisms, as shown in her dialogues when fighting with him. When Raphael was betrayed and cornered by his own kind, it was Amy that came to his rescue, and from that day forward, his entire life changed. Amy became both a symbol of hope and the other person around the world he would live for. When Amy had mastered the sword arts from Raphael's lessons, he gave her a rapier as a gift. It was slightly smaller than usual, having been specifically made for her, and light enough that a little physical strength was required to wield it effectively. Amy had always accepted as truth the idea that despair comes from having hope, but if the time ever came in which she needed to embark in the search of light within the darkness, she now had her own symbol of hope, Albion, the sword from her adopted father and mentor. Over the space of a number of years, Amy learned how to use the rapier from Raphael in between his frequent travels. He had insisted she learn it to defend herself against the dangers of the world, and while Amy had kept herself closed off to others, Raphael was the one person to whom she would open up. It was not long before he became a mentor to her. During the modified La Rapière del Sorel lessons, Raphael made a promise to Amy, saying that he would grant her one wish when he proved herself to be a true swordswoman. It was unclear how much motivation this actually provided, but what was certain is that the bond they formed during their rigorous training. Gifted with extraordinary intuition and keen sense of observation, Amy would at times surprise Raphael with her seemingly innate talent. Always resourceful, she adapted modified La Rapière del Sorel into a style that was all her own, fully internalizing the sword techniques developed by the House of Soriel in order to survive the political battles of aristocracy. Amy's fighting style places less emphasis on landing a single decisive blow and more on exploiting openings with precise attacks until her opponent goes down. Using tactics such as throwing a rose at her opponent to gauge their reflexes and habits, she focuses on ascertaining her enemy's movements and then using that knowledge to subdue them. So Amy is a character that, as before, I never really got too much of a chance to use with because I'm not very good with the rapier style. But I do actually like her fluidity in this game. She's very precise and fluid. And it's really easy to use her style because you can feel she's more light on her feet than Raphael is. With that being said, I do like her personality in this. It seems that she does have a lot of changes as well because her story is tied to Raphael, who's one of the more changed characters overall. But you can still see that original Amy peering through. And whether or not this will lead to Viola in the future is probably going to happen based on some things that you see in Libra of Souls and other things like that. But beyond that, like, I think that like this Soul Chronicle that gives all this new background information on her is actually a pretty decent and lengthy one. It is one that I actually showed the entire thing on my channel, so if you can go find that video, her entire Soul Chronicle story is there so you can see it for yourself without this interpretation. But beyond that, I don't know, I think she's a well-written character, and I'm looking forward to seeing what the future holds for her and to see how she changes and what new obstacles she overcomes, especially with Raphael now, the new definitive version of him being by her side. But I'm more interested to see what you guys have to say. So drop what you want to say in the comment section down below. Do you like the new Amy? Do you like the old Amy? Which one do you prefer and why? As always, it's welcome to start a conversation down there, not just with me, but with each other as well. And I love reading your responses and responding to them. And with that being said, guys, we're going to bring this video to a close. And as always, thank you, and thick you. Hey, what's up, guys? Have you always wanted some sweet Mark Yoon merch? Maybe a thick U shirt, maybe a shirt from Squirt, maybe my pretty face with my logo all over your body, or a throw pillow, or blanket, or anything? Well, you're in luck, because I just launched my merch store, and it is going to be available on Redbubble, and you will find a link to it in my description box down below. It's got a lot of quality content, and a lot of good stuff for you to pick up, so you can show your support for the channel, and just rep Mark Yoon. Alright, guys, as always, thick you.